Hi, I'm Elisa, and this video is going to be a 60-minute gentle vinyasa flow, gentle for the most part. We will work up to an option for back bend, which will be our peak pose. But my intention for the practice is to help us connect our head and our heart. Oftentimes, I think with so much going on around us, there can be kind of a disconnect between the head and the heart, both very intelligent centers in our body, and we function at a much higher level when they're able to work together. So I recommend that if you want help getting into postures or some supports, have a set of blocks, but I'm also going to use just pillows, because a lot of us have pillows at home, and for certain things I actually prefer something a little gentle like that. And we're going to get started in a seated position. Here's a place where, for me, more so than a block, I like to have a pillow. A blanket works great too. Just something gentle to elevate the hips a little bit to make it easier to be comfortable in a cross-legged position. On an inhale, raise your hands high to the sky. Look up if that's comfortable. Exhale, float the hands down. Inhale, raise your hands up. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears, but stretch your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, let them float back to your mat. One more time. Inhale, up. And on the exhale, drop your right hand to the mat and gentle side stretch. Move your left shoulder back so that we're opening the heart, and stretch your left fingertips. Keep your left hip rooted in the mat. Exhale. On your next inhale, come back up. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale. Drop the left hand to the mat. Side stretch. Right hip stays rooted into the mat or your pillow. Open the right shoulder up. Stretch your fingertips long. On your next inhale, come back up. And we'll take a gentle twist to the right. We're just warming up here, so we're not trying to push our body as far as it will possibly go. On an inhale, stretch your spine long. On an exhale, gently twist a little farther. Inhale, stretch, find length in the spine. Exhale, maybe even stretch just a little bit back with your eyes. On inhale, come out of the twist. Exhale to the left side. Inhale, find length in your spine. Exhale, twist a little farther. Inhale, you can almost come out of the twist a little bit. Find length in the spine and twist just a little farther. Maybe look back with the eyes. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring your hands to your knees. I want to take a moment to talk to you about yoga and pushing yourself. Yoga is meant to feel good. Yoga is meant to connect all of the parts of our body and our mind and our soul that get scattered throughout the day, throughout life. And it's you should never do anything that doesn't feel good. We can stretch our muscles. We can work in strengthening poses that might feel your muscles shaking and feel some of that kind of discomfort. But always, if I cue something that doesn't feel good to you, do what feels good to you. What's right in yoga is not the same for everyone. So it's your practice. So please honor yourself, honor your body. We're going to Make some circles, opening up the hips and the chest, the heart. So on an inhale, I want you to lean to one side, come across the front, exhale, round the back, and come back to the side. Inhale, really exaggerate your movement, open your chest. Exhale, round the back, stretch the shoulder blades apart. Inhale, back to the center. Now let's reverse directions. Exhale, across the back. Inhale, stretch the heart forward. Exhale, across the back. Inhale, forward, come back to center. On an inhale, let's gently drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears, but just feel a nice stretch, hopefully along the side of your neck. Breathe. You can find a little bit of movement if it feels good. Looking up and a little bit down. Again, very gentle. Make sure you're doing what feels good. Come back to center. Let's take the other side. On an exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Drop this right shoulder down. Might even feel good to bring the hand all the way to the mat. Inhale, exhale. As you feel the neck muscle releasing a little bit, you might find a little movement. If it feels good, very slowly, it's pretty easy to tweak something in the neck. Come back to center. This next exercise is actually an exercise that is done to strengthen the vagus nerve, which is part of our nervous system that when we are having a lot of anxiety can be very activated. So doing exercises that will tone the vagus nerve can help us to remain calm when the situation that we're in isn't necessarily so calm. So we're going to take that side stretch to the right ear to right shoulder again. You can take your right hand and apply gentle pressure, really being mindful to not strain anything. But as you have your right ear to your right shoulder, take your eyes and look up to the up and to the left. We're going to hold this for just about 30 seconds. Breathing deeply, shoulders out of the ears. Inhale, exhale completely. Release, come back to center. We'll take the other side. Left ear to left shoulder, left hand can apply that gentle pressure. Remember, we're being very mindful not to strain anything. Ears or your shoulders down and shoulders back. And we'll look up to the right. Breathing deeply. All right, come back to center. That's an exercise that you can do for increasing periods of time or repeat on each side. For me, that's enough I can feel a little bit of a release. It will allow me to feel a little calmer. And as you practice these things, even in situations that are not stressful, you'll find that you have a little more resilience to the chaos that can surround all of us. So just all right. I'm One more inhale, up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Tip your chin slightly. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable, or softly focus your gaze down the end of your nose. I'd like to invite you to set an intention for your practice today. The intention that I will offer is opening up the communication between your head and your heart, allowing communication to flow easily. Take an inhale, and on an exhale, release your intention. And we'll go ahead and get started now. This particular posture is going to be a little bit of has a pranayama component to it. Breath work also is fantastically beneficial in helping us calm anxiety and stay centered. We'll start up on our knees. You can see I've got my pillow underneath my knees. It's much more comfortable for me, but you can also double up your mat, use the blanket, whatever feels good for you. On an inhale, raise your hands to the sky, look up if it's comfortable, and on an exhale, we're going to take child's pose. Head all the way to the mat. Inhale, come back up. Stretch up. Exhale, child's pose. Try to make the breath last throughout the entire movement. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, back to child's pose. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, child's pose. Come back up to your knees. We'll go ahead and get started with some standing postures. I'm going to keep my pillow handy and come to a standing position at the back of your mat. We're going to do some roll downs and walk out to plank to start getting some heat building in the body. So just a very gentle sink down to the mat. Bend your knees as much as possible, quite a bit. If this is your first practice of the day, your hamstrings are likely very tight. So we want to let them release. Be very, very gentle. Maybe even take opposite elbows with your hands and invite a little movement to sort of loosen everything up. Now, on an inhale, let's take a flat back. Find length from the crown to the tailbone, looking down out in front of you. On an exhale, fold back down with gently bent knees, and we're going to slowly walk out to plank. Flatten your back out, tuck your tailbone under, shoulders away from the ear, and spread apart. Inhale, and exhale. Let's walk all the way back. Now we're back in our forward fold. Bend the knees and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, roll up. When you get to the top, raise your shoulders up, back and down. 2 more times, just like that. Inhale, exhale, ragdoll to the ground. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Gently bent knees. Let's walk slowly out to plank. Flatten out the back, spread the shoulders. Fingers spread wide. Strong plank pose. On your next exhale, walk back. Take your time. Forward fold. Gently bend the knees and slowly roll up. At the top, shoulders up, back and down. Just getting everything warmed up. Meet me at the top of the mat, and we'll start some sun salutations. Feet hips distance apart. Some people like to have your toes touching with space in between the heels. You do what feels good for you. On an inhale, raise your hands high. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Let's step back to a runner's lunge here. Drop the hips low, look up, stretch forward. Really let the hips sink down. I always like to move around just a little bit in these poses. I feel like it lets me get loose a little more quickly. Now, left foot back to meet the right. Now we're in our plank pose. You can come to knees for these first round. Lower your chest and your chin. Flatten all the way out. Flatten your feet with your hands by your shoulders. Gently press up into a cobra. Exhale, down to the mat. Push back to child's pose. Tuck the toes under and lift up into a downward facing dog. Check your position in your downward facing dog. Your feet should be hips distance apart. Knees should be bent. Look at your hands. Your index fingers should be facing forward. And all your fingers should be spread wide, and you should feel like you're gripping the mat like you're gripping a basketball. Spread your shoulder blades wide. Really let your head and your neck hang. Tip your hips up to the ceiling. Bend your knees as much as possible. I'm less interested in getting your heels all the way to the mat, although you're welcome to start pedaling that out if that feels good. The aim here is to create a long line of energy from the fingertips all the way up through the hips. On an inhale, take the right foot, bring it back through the hands, drop the hips. You're in a runner's lunge. Inhale, bring the left foot to meet the right. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. So here we're going to go through sun salutation a few more times, adding a few little variations in as we're continuing to build some heat and some strength in the body. Inhale, arms raised. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, half lift, hands to shins, thighs or the floor, whatever feels good. Exhale, fold forward. This time, step back with the left foot. Drop the hips low and look up. Get a nice stretch through that left thigh here in your runner's lunge. All right, back to plank. Drop your knees if you would like. Exhale all the way to the mat. Gently press up into a baby cobra. Exhale, down. Push back to child's pose. And push up into downward facing dog. Let's pause in downward facing dog here for a moment. I'd like for you to step your feet in just a little bit. For me, that's helpful in this posture. I'm going to take my left hand and get a hold of my left thigh or calf or ankle, whatever feels good, and get a nice twist. Look up underneath your right armpit and tilt the hips up to the ceiling. Breathe. And then exhale. Bring your left hand back to the mat, and let's switch sides. Right hand to left ankle, shin, calf. Look up underneath your left armpit. Tilt your hips up to the ceiling. Breathe. All right, back to center. And step up with the left foot, and the right foot meets. Inhale, raise all the way up, stretch up, Exhale. Let's go straight into the next one. Forward fold, gently bent knees. Inhale, half lift. Exhale. Inhale, step back to your runner's lunge. Lift up, stretch up. Left foot meets the right. You can go ahead and lower your knees, or if you prefer, you can go ahead and sink into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come back to plank. Step your toes together and move your left hand into the center of the mat, and we're going to lean over onto our right side for a side plank. You really want to lift up out of this left shoulder, the supporting shoulder. You can have your feet staggered if that's comfortable, or they can be stacked. Keep your hips lifted. If you want to challenge your balance, you can look up to the ceiling. I don't think my balance wants to be challenged right now. The right shoulder is back away from the ear. Go ahead and come on down. Reset. Feet together. Let's take side plank on the other side. Lift up out of the supporting shoulder. Reach up with the left hand. Exhale, come down. Push back into your downward facing dog and step up to forward to runner's lunge and forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale straight into the next one. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step back with the opposite foot this time. Drop the hips, look forward. Take the front foot to meet the back. You can go through your vinyasa or go ahead and just meet straight into downward facing dog. Now here in our down dog, I'm going to cue some options to go into wild thing or flip the dog. If you prefer, you can stay here in your down dog. If you'd like a little bit of rest, come down to knees, press back to child's pose. If you'd like the challenge, in your downward facing dog, lift your right leg to the ceiling, but let's open the hip, bend the knee so that we're moving the foot toward the hip. Slowly spin your bottom foot to the side and bring that top foot down. Stretch forward. Inhale, come on out of it. It's back to three-legged dog. Top leg meets the bottom. Second side. Left foot bends to meet the hip, opening the hip, and we'll drop that foot down to the ankle. Stretch up into your wild thing. Exhale, come back out the way we came in. Down dog, step forward into a runner's lunge, meet in a forward fold. Just take a moment Catch our breath here. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now that we've got some heat built in the body, we'll practice a little bit of balance. And I'll face you. You can face the front of your mat, whatever feels comfortable for you. We're going to take tree pose. So we'll start on the right side, or grounding our right foot into the mat. And if at any point you're doing the opposite that I'm doing, or I cue the wrong foot, just try to make sure you do both sides. Yoga is definitely about balance, about evening things out. So ground one foot into the mat and bring the opposite to the ankle. You can keep the toe on the ground. You can come to a wall if you'd like some support with your balance. If you feel comfortable here, you can bring your foot to the calf or the thigh, as long as you avoid the knee area. And we're going to press the foot into the thigh and the thigh into the foot. Bring hands to heart center, shoulders back and down. Breathe here. If you want to play with this a little bit, you're welcome to grow the branches of your tree up to the sky. Really root down through that standing foot. Pressing the big toe mound into the mat will help you stay grounded and help you keep your balance. On an exhale, when you're ready, let's come out the same way that we came in. Shake out that standing foot. We'll take the other side. Left foot, for me, opposite foot, whichever one you haven't done yet, grounds into the mat. And then let's bring the right foot to your ankle, your calf, your thigh, wherever it feels comfortable. Hands to prayer, shoulders back and down. Grow your spine long. Breathe. If you'd like, you can reach your arms out and up. Shoulders away from the ears. If you'd like to play with the balance a little bit, challenge it. You can look up. If you need a little support, you can look down. On an exhale, come on out of it. Shake the legs out. Now we're going to do a little Warrior 3 series, and I'm going to let a dog in. Otherwise, she's going to be. So, come on in. She's very active and she would like to destroy. Not destroy. All right. So, I'll turn to the side so that you can see me. We're going to, again, ground into that right foot. Lift the left knee up so that your thigh is parallel to the mat. Shoulders back away from your ears. Bend the standing leg and we'll tip forward. Gently, slowly shoot that left foot to the back of your mat. You want to keep your hips as level as possible. Hands to prayer. You can bring them out in front of you. You can have them back like an airplane. If you wobble, if you fall, that's okay. Try to have a sense of humor about it. Yoga is meant to be fun. Create length from the crown of your head out to the back foot. I know that the standing leg might be shaking. Mine's shaking. On an inhale, let's come back to knee raised in front of us. Inhale. On an exhale, we're going to sink the standing knee. Meet the feet underneath you. Hands raised in a chair pose. You can keep them at heart center if that feels better for your shoulders. And exhale. Find our way to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Step back with that right foot. Now on our runner's lunge, get your balance, bring your core in for stability, and on an inhale, when you're ready, raise up into crescent lunge. Shoulders back away from the ear. Back heel pressing toward the back of the mat, but it's off the mat. Front knee is over the front ankle. On an exhale, hands to the ground. Drop the back knee. Another great place for a blanket or pillow if you need it. Flatten out that top foot. We're going to take a twist to the left. On an exhale, come down. Raise the back knee. Press back into downward facing dog. Inhale, the right foot meets the front hands. Back foot comes to meet, forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. And we'll take the other side. So this time we'll ground the left foot into the mat. Raise that right knee up in front of you. Shoulders back. Find a drishti out in front of you. Drishti, a point of focus, help you balance. On an exhale, let's bend the bottom knee and shoot the top foot out behind you. Try to keep the hips as level as possible. Shoulders back away from the ear. Create a long line of energy all the way from the crown of the head out through the raised foot. Supporting leg is slightly bent. Shoulders back. Breathe. If your supporting leg is shaking, mine's shaking too, it's great. It means you're building strength. But listen to your body. Inhale, come back through center. Raise that standing knee. Gain your balance. Take an inhale. On an exhale, let's sink into a chair pose. Hands at heart center. Up above your head. Building strength in the legs. Grounding ourselves to the earth. Exhale, fold forward. Take just a moment here. Grab opposite elbows. Catch your breath. Now, inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Take the left foot. Step back to a runner's lunge. Drop the hips. Gain your balance. Raise up into a crescent lunge. Let's breathe here. Inhale. On exhale, runner's lunge. Drop the back knee. Flatten out the back foot. Raise up into a twist. Shoulder back away from the ear. Stretch up. You can press into that back, the top of the back foot. Engage the leg. Come down. Now from here, I want you to take this front leg and bring it back to meet the back one. I'm going to go ahead and get my pillow. I have one that's a little flatter. Might be easier for this because this can be a little bit of pressure on the knees. So here we are. We're going to come to a quadruped position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Let's take a few gentle cat-cows. On an inhale, drop the belly. Move the shoulders back towards the hips. Exhale, round into cat. Really push the shoulders away. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. All right, back to neutral. We're going to do a little bit of a spinal balance, a little bit of core work. So take your right foot and stretch it out behind you. You can see my dog likes to help with the yoga, which does make it fun. Right foot out behind you. Go on. Should make the balance a little more interesting. Right foot out behind you, pushing that right heel towards the back of the mat. Raise that right foot, keeping the hips level and finding length all throughout the back foot. Really all the way out through that back ankle. If that feels steady, you can take the left hand and stretch it out in front of you. Create a long spine. Looking down, not straining your neck by looking up and forward. Really create as much length as possible. On the exhale, we're going to bring the knee and the elbow to meet. Exhale, inhale, stretch back out. Exhale, come back. Inhale, stretch out. Now, if this feels comfortable, we can try to take tiger pose. So bend the back knee, and you're going to take your hand and reach back, grab the ankle, pull the ankle with your hand, pull the hand with the ankle. So you're pulling yourself into a little bit of a back bend. You can look up gently. On an exhale, release, find length one last time. Come back to quadruped and sink back into a child's pose. Reconnect with your breath. Notice where your breath goes. Notice where your mind goes when you're in a challenging posture. When your mind is struggling or it's very active, if you can bring it back to the breath, just like in life, can help you create a lot of balance. Okay, when you're ready, come back up into quadruped. We'll take the second side. This time we'll take the left foot, stretch it out behind us, get a nice sturdy base. Raise that left foot up, level out the hips. When you feel steady, if you're ready, you can take the right hand, reach it out in front of you. Spread the shoulders apart, pull them away from the ears, look down. Really create as much length as you can between the heel and the tips of the fingers. On an exhale, let's crunch it in. Inhale, find length. Exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, find length. Bend the raised knee, reach back, take a hold of the ankle, and lift up to your tiger. Breathe. Inhale, come back and find length. Exhale, quadruped. Sink back into child's pose. Find rest. You've earned it. All right, come back up to tabletop. I'm going to move the pillow out from under my knees, but I might keep it handy. We're going to take a bow pose. And if your hips are uncomfortable and sometimes we want a little padding, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the pelvis. And so if that makes that more comfortable, and that would be the name of the game. So lower all the way to the belly, forehead to mat. On an inhale, raise the right ankle towards the glute and reach back with that same side hand, just like we did in Tiger, except not the opposite hand. Supporting yourself with the left hand, and let's raise up into a half bow. Shoulder away from the ear, opening the heart. Don't let the knee splay out to the side. You want it to stay in toward the midline as much as possible. Exhale, come down. Rest your forehead. Inhale, raise the left ankle toward the glute. Reach back for that foot. On an exhale, lift up into your half bow. Exhale, release. Forehead to mat. If it feels good to you, you'd like to try full bow. We are working towards moving into a back bend, so we're doing a lot of these stretches to prepare for that. You can do half bow on both sides again, or you can try for the full bow. So forehead to the mat, reach back with both hands, grab the outsides of the ankle, and lift up into bow. Really breathe. It can be very hard to not lose your breath in this posture. Shoulders back away from your ears. Shine your heart forward. See if you can lift up just a little bit more. Exhale, release. Now, I'd like for you to simply roll over onto your back. We'll work in some opposite posture a little bit. No. All right. You can rock back and forth a little bit. Massage that lower back. When you're ready, plant your feet on the mat, hands down beside your side. We'll take a little bridge pose. So on the inhale, prepare, exhale, tilt the pelvis up to the ceiling, and one vertebrae at a time, gently, slowly raise into your bridge. Use your arms, your hands to help support you. Don't collapse the neck into the chest. Keep space here along the throat. One more inhale, exhale, release gently, one vertebrae at a time. You want to make this movement as fluid as possible. Be very gentle with your spine. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, tilt the pelvis up and raise into your bridge. This time you might be a little more comfortable, have a little more space, tuck your shoulders underneath your back. Press into the heels, raise the glutes. Breathe. Inhale, exhale, one vertebrae at a time. Release to the mat. Bring your knees into your chest and rock back and forth. Massage that lower back. Now, if wheel is not in your practice and you would like to take bridge again, please do so. If you would like to try wheel, we'll go into it in a couple of steps. So hands will come back by the head. Notice the fingertips are going to be facing the shoulders. We'll start out the same way. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, tilt the pelvis up. Raise up into a bridge. Exhale. Inhale to prepare. Exhale. Come to the top of the head. And when you're ready, if you'd like, press all the way into a full wheel. Open the heart. Shine the chest forward. Breathe. When you're ready, on an exhale, come back slowly, gently, the way that you came in. One vertebrae at a time. Bring the knees into the chest. Rock back and forward. Now to further massage the back, we'll do a little rock and rolling. So grab a hold of the back of your thighs and rock back and forth 2 or 3 times, and then come to seated. I'm going to turn around so that I'm able to face you a little more easily. At this point, we're going to start cooling down. So meet me in staff pose, feet out in front of you, pressing into the mat, toes flexing back towards your torso, hands on the mat, shoulders back, crown of the head lifting to the ceiling, shine the chest forward. On an inhale, raise your hands up. Exhale, fold forward with a flat back. So at first, I like to start with this flat back to keep the stretch as much in the back of the legs as possible. And when I can't go any further, then I'll round forward. Give my back some much needed rest and relief. Just relax the neck. Grab a hold wherever is comfortable. Just relax your arms down by your legs. Breathe. On your next inhale, slowly roll the way up. Now we're going to take a really gentle transition into half pigeon. And this is another good place for a pillow or a block. So we'll start out with the left knee forward up by the hands, and the left foot is, however, if it's comfortable for it to be parallel to the front of the mat. For me, it is not. I need to have my foot back towards my hip. This is a lot more comfortable for me. Now here's the trick with the pillow. If you want to put that under the hip that we're stretching, this front left hip, that can be very supportive. Stretch the back foot out behind you, point the toes, come up. On an exhale, when you're ready, you can fold forward. And we hold a lot of emotion in our hips, and it can be a trick for the brain to allow you to release that tension. Your brain might be saying, oh, no, that's not safe. So take a deep breath. Tell your brain it's okay. You can relax. You can let go. I like to put rest my third eye on my fists. You can rest it on the ground. Genie hands. But on every inhale, send your breath to that hip. And on every exhale, see if you can release Just a tiny bit more. We'll stay here for a few more breaths. On an inhale, come up. We'll just take a, simple switch to the other side. This will be my right knee that's forward. I'm going to put my soft little pillow, and you can have a much bigger pillow. Whatever you need to make this stretch accessible. It can be pretty intense. And you do want to allow that release, but you want to always honor your body. Honor your body wherever you are today. It might be different than it was yesterday. You might notice that this side is much tighter than the other side, or vice versa. Just notice the differences in your body and see if you can let that be okay. When you're ready, come down. Inhale, send the breath to the hip. Exhale, try to release. Inhale, full exhale. 2 more breaths. Inhale, exhale, release. Inhale, exhale, sink. When you're ready, on an inhale, press back up. Remove your pillow if you are using it. And I'm going to take this back leg and swing it all the way over to the opposite side of your right knee. Let me turn towards you a little bit. Then have a seated twist. I like to take a moment to let my hips settle. Here, my hips are pretty tight. Some people need to be careful because you're going to be hypermobile, and therefore you need to be gentle with moving these joints around. Mine are not hypermobile, so it takes me a moment to let my hips think that it's really okay. So with this knee, the top knee up close to the chest, I'm going to take my right hand on the opposite side of the knee that's up, and I'm going to twist across that knee, using the elbow as leverage to twist a little bit farther. You'll notice we're a lot warmer than we were when we took our first twist of the practice. Inhale, find length in the spine. Exhale, twist. Inhale, and then exhale, release. We're just going to switch sides. So switch the position of your feet. I'll take a moment to settle in. You know where we're going. If you're ready to go there, by all means go. My right leg is on top, so I'm going to raise my left leg, find length in the spine, and twist across that right knee. Using the elbow as leverage. Inhale, find length in the spine. Exhale, twist. On an inhale, exhale, come out of your twist. And let's find a comfortable position on our back. I'd like to bring my knees into the chest and rock back and forth just a bit. Feet to the earth, and gently windshield wiper our feet, our knees back and forth. Now, whatever side they're on, go ahead and let them just fall to the mat. If you'd like to intensify the stretch a little bit, you can take the bottom foot and place it on top of the knee that's on top. And you might feel more of a stretch down this hip. Keep the shoulders rooted into the mat. Exhale, come back out. Windshield wiper again, and find the opposite side. You can absolutely just release here, or if you would like a little more intensity in the stretch, place the bottom foot on top of the top knee. Breathe. Breathe into that hip. When you're ready, go ahead and come on out. And we can rock up to a seated position again. And make your way to a final resting posture. You can be laying on your back in corpse pose. You could be sitting on a pillow or a block or on your mat, whatever you can be comfortable in, and be very still for a few minutes. Stretch your feet long out beneath you. Rest your hands at your sides, a few inches away from your hips. Let your feet gently relax out to the sides. Move around a little bit, get yourself nice and comfortable. I like to tuck my shoulders underneath my back to create a little shelf for my heart. Move your head back and forth a few times until you feel yourself settling. I'm going to rest in Shavasana for a few moments, and we'll go through a body scan to release any tension that might be lingering. We'll start at the crown of the head. Bring all of your attention to the crown and notice if you feel any sensation here, any tingling, any tightness. You might not feel anything at all. That's okay too. Now bring your awareness to your face, to your forehead. Smooth all of the muscles, smooth all of the wrinkles out. Relax the furrow in between your brows. Let your eyes sink back into the sockets. Unhinge your jaw, maybe move it back and forth just a little bit. Let the tongue sink all the way back into the back of your mouth. Now bring your attention to your neck and your shoulders. Notice if you're gripping here. Notice if you're holding any tension. If you can, send your breath to those tense muscles. And then exhale, see if you can release just 5% more. Now bring your attention to your torso. Focus your awareness in your heart center. Feel your heart beating in your chest, pumping blood throughout all of your limbs. You've worked the muscle today, and it deserves a rest. Bring your attention to your hips. in your thighs. If you feel any tension here, send your breath to those tense muscles, and on an exhale, see if you can release. Focus your attention in your calves and your ankles. What sensations do you feel in your legs? Just notice, be aware, and see if that can just be okay. Relax your feet, relax your toes. Inhale deeply, exhale, ground into your mat. Inhale, exhale, melt into the earth. Feel it holding you. Feel yourself supported. Feel yourself rooting into the earth. Rest for a few more moments in Shavasana. If you have thoughts enter your mind, know that that's very normal. Just let them drift away like a cloud in the summer sky. When you're ready, begin to bring your awareness back to the room. Become aware of the space your body is in. Keeping your eyes closed, invite a little movement back into your body by gently wiggling the fingers, the toes. Maybe stretch yourself long on your mat. As you're ready, roll over onto your favorite side. Rest for a moment in a side child's pose. On an inhale, press yourself up into an easy seat. If you haven't already done so, start to open your eyes. First is just tiny slits to let the light slowly enter your eyes, being very gentle with your senses coming out of this restful posture. Before we complete practice today, I'm going to show you another pranayama practice that will be very beneficial in calming the nervous system, training your nervous system to be a little more resilient. And this is it's called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing. What we'll be doing is activating both sides of the brain and with some calming breath. And what I would like for you to do is take your left hand and fold the pointer finger and the middle finger down. It's a little hard for me to do. My fingers don't want to fold that way. Do your best. So you have your ring finger, your pinky finger, and your thumb facing up. And we're going to start by closing the valve on the right side. So only your left side nostril is open. Take a deep inhale through the left nostril. Exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left nostril. Now switch. Thumb closes the left nostril and your exhale through the right. Inhale deeply through the right nostril. Switch sides. Exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left. Switch sides. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Switch sides. Exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Switch sides. Exhale through the right. Inhale through the right. Switch sides. Exhale through the left. Go ahead and bring your hands to your thighs. It's recommended that you practice that for up to 5 minutes or more a day. Even 20, 30 seconds of this will be valuable in helping your nervous system learn to be more regulated. Practicing daily will benefit you tremendously. I encourage you to try it. Now we'll take a few breaths together and conclude our practice. So on an inhale, stretch your arms out wide and raise them up to the sky. Exhale, float them back to the mat. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. One final time. Inhale, up. Exhale, all the way to the heart. Tip your chin down. We'll seal all of that wonderful work in. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.